Well, good morning, friends, and we're back to continue on with this process. We will be flocking the reservoirs. Surely there was a less complex word than that, Erica. They're the rock buckets. The rock reservoirs, if you will. I think we'll try to get 2 types of stone in each, because then we'll have 12 different stones. I at least have 12 different stone chips. Sarah has kept me well stocked. Now, what we also will be doing is making the tiniest frog domes you've ever seen in your life. And I'm quite excited about this, to be perfectly honest. Also, I can't make this many of them because I only have 6 frogs. So, what I have here are some metal flat back cabochon discs in bronze, specifically, and a little glass dome. It's 12 millimeters, so I know it will fit on the shelf. Oh, Erica, you and your cultivated mayhem. Okay, well, anyway, so we have those, and then I also have tubes, because I thought it would be cute to have the frogs sitting on a little leaf in a tube. And also they didn't have exactly the shape of dome that I used that was proportional to the frog. Decisions have to be made to make things work, people. That's what it is. And here's our frogs that we're going to have to paint. I'm thinking, so what I did for this, because this is going to end terribly, almost undoubtedly, I backwards taped some painter's tape so that it was sticky side out, and then I covered it in a layer of just crummy tissue paper. Here's why. Neural Net watches a lot of the art restoration, and they use a lot of washi paper, and it's called like washi kozo, the fancy kind. This is not. This is jank tissue paper from like 99-cent store. But what he does is he uses that as a barrier for anything he's doing so that he can remove it and have things not get ruined. Long story short, he uses it a lot. So what I'm thinking is if I put a real thin layer of white glue on this that saturates the paper, I can then stick the little froggles onto there and use this as a stick to manipulate the froggles whilst we are painting. And then if everything goes to a totally assumed and absolutely not tested plan, but I'm afraid I'll lose the frogs the first time I get them out. So we're going straight ahead. We're going straight in. We're going straight in. We're not waiting. Because if I try to like open this and then paint it, put it back, I'm gonna lose them all. Or test it to see if that even works. Well, also nobody's got time for that. We're doing it live, as Bill O'Reilly would say. Anyway, so we are going to glue our little froggles down to the paper in hopes that when we are done, I can just rip them off of the paper and peel off any little paper bits and then glue them onto their leaf. For the leaves inside of their terrariums, we have some Miniverse lifestyle things. We have like a pilea that I think it would look really cute sitting up on. How big are you compared to the tube while we're here? These are the comparisons that surely could have been done at another time. All right, so we're going to have to trim those. And I haven't decided if it will be smarter to like UV resin these down and then put dust in the bottom so it's mossy, or vice versa. But we'll work that out, and we'll do it in high speed so that you don't have to watch all that. We have a pothos here, which I think I could use like either these little 3 in a row would fit somewhere, I think. Like bent. Like if we rolled it up a little bit and then glued a frog on, thusly. Or we can just use a leaf in the bottom of one of these. How small? Oh, I can fit a leaf if I tilt it up. Okay, if the leaf is tilted up, it will fit. And we can stick a frog on it. All right, well, we're going to do that. And, oh my God. Well, I'll find that later. And we're going to do that, and we're going to do some flocking. And then we'll see where we're at, I think. Anyway, let's get started with gluing the froggles down. And pray that I don't just sporing them all over the room just trying to get them out. My hands are fairly clumsy in the mornings. Also, I'm thinking that they should probably be poison dart frogs for brightness factor. How am I going to prime them? Well, these are not getting primed. There's absolutely no way I can somehow blast that with primer spray. Well, you know, best laid plans of mice and men. Here we go. Well, hello, I have returned, and we have reached the point that we are ready, I think, to paint the frogs. We have our little teeny tiny dioramas for them to live in, which might be the cutest thing ever. And I used the UV resin for that, so that worked nicely. We have our frogs, who are aggressively tiny, and they do appear to be affixed on there. I've given them each a gentle boop to make sure that they're not going to peel off the moment I attempt to paint them, but we'll see how that goes. And I have all of our bright paints. I'm feeling like if we go with anything other than something super bright, they will be utterly invisible against the little green leaves, and they're competing a lot. There's a lot of competition for visual interest, and they are very small. So we must use bright paints, so they are very alarming, as in to draw your attention, as they would in the wild, as a poison dart frog. Alright, so we're going to try and do some of these without crying or losing our minds. I guess they probably would have shaded and dry brushed this, but I am not confident about them being on there well enough to do that. So we're going to make do with what we've got. We've got our bases over here. We have our tube and our dome, and we're ready to go. So let's attempt to paint these frogs. It says these are 7 millimeters. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, all right, let's paint. And we're back after having sprayed them with some enamel. But look at the little babies. Come on, buddy, focus. You got this. Yeah. Their little eyes are a little imperfect, but we still love them. They're just little frog angels. How did you get no sealant on you? I sprayed everyone. Well, anyway, we will begin attaching these little gentlemen to their homes and finish them off. Look how cute they are. They're so small, the 3D printer struggled to print all of their eyeballs on. So some of them are a little bit wonky-donkey, but we love them all the same. And hopefully my little paper idea for getting them off will work. Otherwise, we're going to be peeling little frogs. Or I could just cut their little stilts off. Maybe I'll just cut their little legs off. Not their legs, but you know, the sprue. It's not a sprue. They're 3D printed. It's a leg. I forget what they call that. Anyway, aren't they cute? Little leggies. Okay, so we're going to put them in their little houses, and then, I suppose it will be time to flock, and then end the video. Alright, let's get the froggies onto their new homes. Well, hello, it's the next day, and we are ready for what I'm going to call I Wanna Flock, which, I want to say is a Whitesnake song. But anyway, we have Stuart Semple's stick here, which is the world's stickiest substance when you let it dry down to a tackiness. Why am I using that for the flocking instead of what they told me to use? Because what they told me to use was literally $1 trash acrylic paint that you get at the dollar store. That's not a problem for me, but on the instruction booklet for the rayon Flocky Fluff, it literally said not to touch it or brush it off for 15 days. I don't have 15 days. I won't even be doing this whole project for 15 days if I am doing my personal job right. So no. So we're going to use Stuart Semple's stick, which is considerably more expensive than $1 trash acrylic paint. But it did say you could alter the color slightly by painting underneath it. And this immediately started looking like a billiards table. So we switched over to the darker green. And hopefully it will mask some of that. But we're going to use the stick. And then as for the frogs, while I don't think this is the best use of my frogs, I do think that the frogs came out fab. I think that they would do better in like a little terrarium if they were meant to be an actual dollhouse frog, as you can see. Oh, they're so cute in there. Look at them. Look at the little crystal at the bottom. Oh, so fun. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted by the frogs. I haven't looked at them yet today. Anyway, I think these would be better served by being in like a little frog terrarium. So if I make these again, I will definitely be putting them in a larger terrarium because to scale, this glass would be like 15 inches thick compared to the frog. It's way too thick, which is why it is distorting. They're still adorable, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, we'll put them in a bear house. This was to mimic the things I make for Sarah's Shore. They are very good at that. And we will be revisiting the frog painting experiment. Ugh, I wiped that down so much and it was still smudgy. Anyway, we will be revisiting these frogs often because I think that was so fun. And I had a really successful paint on that, I think. So I have also absconded. I saved the rest of the spices. What did I do with the lid? Because you can either blow on the flocking or you can shake it on. We're going to try and shake it on. into a box because I don't want to breathe it. And we're also probably going to do it outside. Or if not, I will mask up because I'm sure it's not great to get like fibrosis of any kind into your lungs of any kind. Like it doesn't have to be asbestos. Don't breathe particulate matter. All right, well, let's get started. Thanks for sticking around for the frogs. And I will just speed us through this next part, and I will see you in the next one, I hope, where we will be filling the rock buckets and working on some of the other for sale items. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!